So I'm sure we've all seen this film, right? Captain Phillips. It's of my opinion that Captain Phillips and a lot of films on hostages in Somalia fail to capture the real story of Somalia and the Somalian pirates. In this video, I hope to explain the real story of Somalia and what can lead someone into this path of piracy, which is often being misinterpreted by the media. So first, in order to understand why someone would become a pirate, we have to understand the history of Somalia. So Somalia is kind of similar to Afghanistan, whereby they were kind of peaceful. But in the 19th century, Somalia was colonized by both the British and the Italian empires, which led to part of Somalia being British Somaliland and Italian Somaliland. In the 1960s, the two territories united to form an independent Somali republic under civilian government. Now, it's important to note that the civilian government was corrupt, had corruption in it, and this led to a coup that occurred in 1969, where the leader you can see on the screen, Syed Barre, sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, led the coup and established the Somali Democratic Republic. Under his regime, he went to war against the Ethiopians, which he lost, and he tried to squash the Somaliland War of Independence, which occurred in the north of the country. This war lasted from the 6th of April 1981 to the 18th of May 1991. Eventually his regime collapsed, which led to the Somali Civil War and the collapse of Somalia. After this, Somalia was known as a failed state by many international organizations, which obviously led to problems that occurred throughout the nation. So basically, Somalia is still one of the least developed countries in the world and has high levels of corruption, high levels of violence and terrorism that occurs inside its borders. After the 1991 Civil War, in 2000 there was a transitional national government was established, which was followed by a federal government which was established in 2004. In 2006, Ethiopian troops invaded Somalia to try and to get rid of the Islamic government which was ruling at the time and reinstall the federal government. Now this federal government, is important to note, has been characterized by corruption, lots of nepotism, and a lot of problems have been within this federal government. So Somalia hasn't had its perfect ride ever since the civil war ended. Al-Shabaab actually formed in around about that 2006 time to fight against the Ethiopian and the African peacekeeping troops in Somalia. And Al-Shabaab is an Islamic group and has been contributed to insecurity in this nation. Now, why do I say all of this? It's important to know. I feel like a lot of these films on like hostages fail to highlight the context of the country in which they're talking about. So the teenagers the people who attacked Captain Phillips in the movie were actually teenagers, and a lot of people don't know about the Somalian pirates is that a lot of illegal fishing that occurred in Somalia, and this increased after the collapse of the federal government in 1991. The government couldn't control the borders effectively, which led to a lot of foreign ships conducting illegal fishing in Somalia, and also they dumped a lot of industrial waste which helped to destroy fish stock around the coast of Somalia. Now this led to originally fishing groups being angry at this, obviously, and they armed themselves to try and stop this, but then they realized how much money they could actually make by actually robbing and kidnapping cargo. So the idea that these Somalian pirates are just these evil people, just have no heart, is just, I feel like it doesn't fully explain the situation properly, you know what I mean? In Captain Phillips, the story is about Navy SEALs rescuing this American who was innocently taken out, and that is the story. But a lot of media, films fail to capture the Somalian story from a Somalian perspective about the reality of their nation, how hard it is to survive, the poverty in their nation, etc., etc. Well, so what am I saying? So I'm basically saying that although Captain Phillips is a good film, and I watched it, I feel like a lot of American political films, and not just Captain Phillips, but just films especially made by Western countries, fail to capture the story of the people of all sides of a perspective, should I say. So in Captain Phillips, I believe they failed to capture the Somali story. They failed to. I feel like we see these people as like these terrorists, but we don't get to look at the background. We don't understand that ships were destroying Somalian fish. That there was a lot of illegal fishery. We fail to see the economic and problems that occur in Somalia. There's a failure to understand the Somalian side. That's what I'm basically trying to say. And I just want to make this video to explain the Somalian story. What could lead a young teenager to go and commit such an act in the high seas? What causes someone to hijack a cargo ship? And they're not all just bad, they're just victim of circumstances, you know. Somalia is a country that's had a lot of trouble, still going on a lot of trouble. I just feel like this perspective needs to be put out there, that a lot of illegal fishing was occurring, and a lot of things that drove a lot of people into piracy. That's the story of Somalia, you know, and it's getting better a little bit today. There's been less hijackings over the past couple of years, but yeah. Right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it. If you didn't, don't worry about it. What do you guys think? In this video I just tried to explain the story of Somalia and give their perspective on why they do things they do, why pirates do the things they do, shall I say. And if you have a different opinion than me, leave in the comments, and if not, don't worry, have a nice day.